as I learned, I didn't realize it was a UTI. I thought it was just a bladder infection, which, to my knowledge, is two different things. And so I just was drinking cranberry juice because I was like, this should fix it. And when it wasn't going away, again, me trying to avoid going to the doctor was trying to avoid going to the hospital. To try to get into my doctor, he's got a huge caseload of clients, patients, whatever. So trying to see him, you're looking like 3 weeks to a month before you can get in to see him. So even though I call him, like, I need an appointment, this is going on, they're like, yeah, it's going to be, X amount of time. Okay, trying to get into a walk-in clinic isn't always easy either because there's only so many in town, and they get to capacity very quickly. So normally the only choice is to go to the hospital, especially with everything that I was facing at that time. I had a lot more going on than just the UTI symptoms. So that's why I ended up going to the hospital the first time, and that's when I learned that everything was going wrong. What had started happening was I was barely urinating. So I went from urinating like crazy to barely urinating. So that's why I ended up going to the hospital the first time around. And that's when I found out that it was a UTI and everything else that went on with it. So learned my lesson, and that's why this time I didn't fool around. They treated the symptoms. They had me in as an inpatient. They treated me. I was sent home. A couple weeks later, symptoms came back. That's when I went back to the hospital again. I was like, listen, same thing's going on. And I went back to the hospital that time because at that point I was scared because I just went through almost kidney failure. And so I got scared. So I was like, I don't want to chance this again. So that's why I went back in. That's when I got the PICC line put in the first time. And the antibiotics started at home. And then I finished them last week. And then a couple days ago when the symptoms came back again, I was not fooling around. I was like, nope, I know what this is this time. And the first thing I did was contact my doctor's office to see if they could prescribe me to just refill it. I was told they couldn't refill it without hospital orders because it is such a strong antibiotic and because it's an intravenous antibiotic infusion. Okay, understandable. So I tried the pharmacy. They said the same thing. They actually said they can't prescribe any IV medications and that it would be up to the walk-in clinic doctor's discretion whether they would want to do it, and they said no. So that left me with going to the hospital, and which I did. And even though I didn't actually get to see a doctor at the hospital, they're still able to run the urine sample, find out what was wrong, and send a letter to my family doctor so my family doctor could send in for the prescription. And here we are.